this is Nishtha from Scholar Strategy. A lot of you have received admits for fall 2020, but you're not sure if that is the right thing to do because of coronavirus scare, right? And some of you have choices to defer the admit to next spring or fall, and you're wondering whether you should take that option or not. So if that's your query, then you're in the right place because this video will help you decide that thing more objectively. So let's get started. I want you to pick a pen and a piece of paper and do this exercise with me, and then tell me how it goes for you.
So this is the spreadsheet that I'm going to show to you guys. So here I'm making certain assumptions, which is that I am currently working in an okay software development company, but I'm not too happy with my job, and I eventually want to switch to data science. I'm also making an assumption that I have admit from IUB data science program, which is not the best, but not the worst either. It's a mid-tier data science program, which will let me switch to data science. They have currently given me two options that I can continue the fall 2020 classes online, or I can defer my admit to next fall. Now, I'm just thinking that if I defer my admit to next fall and continue working in my current job, then I'll either start the school next fall, or it may also happen that I completely give up on my study abroad plans. So let's keep these three options that we are going to evaluate today. Next thing you need to do is create a column called criteria. And there I want you to list all the important factors that you're taking into consideration. So these are some of the factors that are important for me. For example, I do want to switch to data science. I want to look for higher salaried jobs. I want to work in better company. I want to be plugged into what's happening in data science and overall in the tech industry. I want to build network with relevant professionals all across the globe. I want to finish studies on time. So let's say I'm 25-year-old and I do not want to delay too much. So it's important for me to finish my studies quickly. I want to have better academic exposure because I'm not happy with my undergrad coursework and all. I really want to get access to good coursework and learn in the classroom from good profs, right? Um, I want better quality of life. Um, and I want to be more employable. Like I want my resume to gain some points. I want to have some brand names in there, etc., etc. I want to see the world and travel. So these are sort of like the some of the positive aspirational points. And then there are a few constraints that I want to mitigate my risk against. So, for example, I do not want to spend my savings. So this is a negative factor, spending my savings. I I am trying to avoid short-term job uncertainty. I am trying to avoid COVID healthcare scare. So these are all the negative or avoid scenarios. So these are what I want, and these are I want to avoid. Okay. Next step, what you need to do is you need to give weightage to these factors. What does weight mean? Weight means how important this factor is to me. So for example, switching to data science is a very important thing for me. It's almost like 100 point. Higher salary jobs is very important for me. However, working in a cutting edge global company, I would give it maybe a 20. Similarly, like, better quality of life is something I want, but it's not the most crucial. I'm just giving it a 20, for example. So what you guys need to do, obviously, is play it according to your preference. There is no right or way to do this, and your preference could vary from mine, and that's the beauty of this tool because it lets you um, do things as per your profile and as per your wishes. So you can completely make it different from your friend, for example. Now, this is interesting. For the avoid factors, these are the negative factors. I'm going to give them a negative weightage because these are worries for me. These are concerns for me, right? So I'm going to say spending my savings is not something I'm looking at. I'm going to give it minus 90. Um, COVID healthcare scare is important, but not as worrisome. I'm going to give it a minus 50. So here what I've tried to do is I've tried to vary the points from 10 to 100. You can again choose your own scale, but I would like you to choose big numbers so that you have enough gap between between the numbers, because if you just do 1 to 5, then like, the points are very, very close together. So try to give on a larger scale. Next, I'm going to do is I am going to evaluate each option on for this factor. So the constraint here is that whatever is the weight, that is the maximum point you can give to any option. So if this point, if the weight here is 100, the maximum I can give to this choice is 100. So you are assessing the probability of this factor happening if you take this option, and the maximum I can give is 100. So for example, better quality of life is only a 20-point factor. So the maximum I can give is 20-point factor. So if I go to US and start this fall itself, eventually, if I feel that US is known for better quality of life, then I can have access to that. You can, of course, think that because of coronavirus healthcare scare, it's not really that great right now. So I'm going to give it only 10. But the point is, I cannot give it more than 20. Okay. So next step for us is to uh, evaluate these options and give them points. So I think switching to data science is highly likely if I go for my master's right now. So I'm going to give this option a 90 point. However, higher salaried jobs also, I think I can manage that if I go for master's. Working in a cutting global edge company, I would give this much. So again, see, this is the probability of this factor coming true if you take this option. Now, here the interesting thing is the lowest I can go is minus 90, and the highest I can give is 0 because it's a void scale, right? So I think the possibility of this spending my savings, I will be obviously spending more if I go for a graduate school right now. So yes, this is going to happen. Short-term job uncertainty because of visa and COVID economic crisis or something. Let me give minus 100. Like, this is the biggest scare in the mind of people. So you can give the highest points there, right? And similarly here. So I hope this is clear. We are going to just give points to other options as well now. Okay, so I have now given points to other two options as well. So for example, switching from software engineering to data science is going to be possible also if I start the school next fall. I've just given it 10 points low because there's some uncertainty of starting late or whatever happening, right? So again, you can play around with this. If you think there's no difference between the two, you can give them the same points. Like here, I've given them the same points that even if I start late, I can get access to higher salaried jobs. But some of the differences you might see that, like, plugging into the latest developments, I just like because that's going to happen next year. So I'm factoring some of the uncertainty of this 1 year into this thing, but otherwise more or less they are good. Like the difference you can see is that short-term job uncertainty. This is what many people are feeling, that it's going to be like, maybe it's better to start next year because there would be less uncertainty. So fair enough. So there I'm giving it minus 70. If you think there's going to be much difference, you can obviously give it higher points as well. So it's completely up to you. COVID healthcare scale is going to be lower next year, so I'm giving it minus 30. But as you can see here, that I've still given minus 10 even if I stay back in India and abandon my study abroad plans, because COVID healthcare scare is in India as well. The only difference is that you are maybe living with your families in your house, so you're not as much worried about, like, um, being stuck in a rented place, or when schools is not going and they are not letting you stay on campus, and all those extra things. Other differences you can see is that higher salary job. I am just being positive here that even if I stay back and will try to go for a switch jobs here in India, maybe I can get that. So I'm giving a 40 point here. But other factors are pretty low, and this is also reflecting the fact that this is why we were applying for study abroad in the first place, right? So if we abandon those plans, then we don't get all of those things. But of course, the difference is that I'm not going to be spending my savings, so that's better than minus 70. Short-term job uncertainty is gone because I do have a job in hand. Okay, so these are, again, please play according to you. You can increase the number of factors here, add more points. You can change the weightage, and then give points according to your own understanding. Last step is to just calculate, like, the sum for each thing. So it's as simple as literally, right? So this is my score for starting the classes this fall. This is my score for deferring to next fall. This is my score for giving up the study abroad plans altogether. So what I have in front of me now, this table is telling me that there's slight edge according to my preference for deferring to next fall, because it's based on these factors. It's telling me that this is a better option than continuing the classes online this fall. And now ask yourself, is this matching your gut feeling? Like, did you, at the start of this exercise, were you anyways leaning towards deferring? If you were, then this kind of gives you more validation that yes, your thought process has some merit to it. But let's say that, like, you are really afraid and your gut feeling is telling you, I really want to defer, but the score here is like, very high for joining this fall itself, then ask yourself that maybe you have not taken all the factors into consideration, or maybe you are worrying too much unnecessarily about something, etc., etc. So I'm not going to go too much into detail there, but like overall, this is the snapshot of how we use this decision matrix. So I would encourage all of you to just create this table and evaluate your scores and see what the tool is telling you. So that was all. I hope this helps in a way. And if you were really, really confused what to do or what not to do, trust me, no one else can tell you what to do. You have to figure it out for yourself. So this tool will at least get you a peek into your own mind and things that are important for you, right? So I encourage you to create this for yourself and evaluate it. And yes, share what you find out with all of us in our Facebook group, or email us at scholarstrategy@gmail.com.